IDW, of course, talking with Irene Koehler. How you doing?
I'm great.
And she is a dear friend, so I'm going to give her a hard time a little bit. But no, I'm not going to give you a hard time.
Thanks so much.
No, I wanted to ask you about your session that you told me that you liked, you enjoyed.
Yeah, I did.
And it was, again, I find it interesting because the sessions that people are gravitating towards, it's not about, when we talk about content, again, I always think about written content as being
right.
the crux of it. A lot of people are talking about video, but the session you were in is talking about audio, specifically how to create better audio for instructional videos, right?
Right, exactly.
And it's not like you're necessarily day in and day out creating instructional videos. So what stood out to you about the session?
Well, there were a number of tips that he shared, and what we're talking about is these video tutorials where you're recording your computer screen, and very often you then narrate along as you go. So there were a number of tips how to do that more effectively, and also how to insert the audio track later on. Because sometimes we get kind of off track and lose our place when we're doing it. And we talked about when to script it, when to just kind of wing it.
Off the cuff?
Yeah.
Like this, right?
Yeah. And how to have your voice come across. So there were the issues about scripting and preparation, but then also having your voice be clear and pitch and enunciation and so on. It was interesting because he had all of us in the session actually, every time he gave us a tip, we all did it at the same time. So it was a room full of people reading the same material over and over, but practicing the skill that he just gave us. In fact, one of them was to help with enunciation, practice reading it with a pencil or a pen in your mouth. So I think everyone gave a quick look around the room to see if anybody else was going to do it, and everybody, we all were.
And this was
speaking.
Tom Johnson that
right.
did this, and so that's quite interesting because I think we worry about the content, like what's actually written,
right.
But what you guys were going over, like you said, was like diction and all these ways so that in general it was just delivered better.
Right, exactly. It was not how to create better content, but how to make it so it's more engaging to the audience, and it seems more natural and dynamic rather than speaking in a monotone to make it seem more natural. And even when it is scripted, scripting it in a way that seems conversational, writing things that include contractions, because that's the way we would speak.
Yeah.
Not you can never do this, just you can't, you shouldn't do it, or something along those lines.
I gotta say, when you told me about it, it's one of those sessions I definitely wish that I was in, and I even mentioned to you, I say, I've been a participant in producing podcasts for some time, and there's definitely a difference between having a conversation and essentially what these videos are, videos or audio. It's meant to communicate information.
Right.
It's not meant to be sort of entertainment, really, but there's some elements of it, it sounds like, that help it be more engaging.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Because when it sounds too robotic, no matter how much somebody wants to get the information, you just check out. I mean, we have short attention spans, and it just doesn't sound natural. For example, one of the interesting tips that he gave with regard to scripting is to script perhaps the higher level concept of what the purpose of the video is.
Yeah.
But then when demonstrating the steps, here's where you navigate, here's where you have a couple bullet points for that, but just let yourself kind of wing it.
So don't
for that part, so it sounds
stick to
more
the
natural.
script, but don't stick to the script in some ways, I guess it'd say. I mean,
as you're moving the mouse around the screen, you're navigating. I mean, you know what the points are that you want to make, but you just allow yourself just to.
So it sounds more natural,
right.
Rather than somebody who would use a voice that they were just sort of reading off of a page. Because if you're writing a script, you're likely reading that script, right?
Right. But he also talked about when you're done with the video, then re-recording the audio and replacing the audio that you recorded, and then how to get that to match up in timing with the audio. It was very interesting.
Now I
Things
really,
wouldn't
really
have
wish that I was part of that session now, because I mean, seriously, it's very, very interesting. So,
Yeah, it
well,
was.
awesome. I'm going to be interested in hearing if we've got a couple more sessions today and so on, but you brought to my attention a really cool one, so that we're going to see a series of instructional videos from you now, right?
Well, I've done some in the past, but now I'm rethinking them. I'm thinking, man, I should have done those. I could have been better, let's just say. Room for improvement.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with
All
us.
right, my pleasure.